Hello everybody, this is Steve at Kakapo, and thanks for joining us when we're looking at Twitter queues for BroadSoft today. So firstly, let's recap what we're going to be covering in this session. And I think, firstly, what do we mean by Twitter queues for BroadSoft? What exactly are these? How do they work? Why are they important? What's required to set it up? And also a live demo. So some of the things we're going to look at once we go live is some tweets coming in. So we've got support for tweets and direct messages. We're going to come on to why that's important and why we need to support that. And basically some routing options. There's routing to the last agent. Importantly, there's some logic that we can build in on how we can group tweets together. Because if you've got something like a web chat, if you're familiar with our web chat solution for contact center, then web chat is, of course, real time. If a visitor is on a website, they start a chat, they need to get answered immediately. Tweets, not so much. It's a different kind of behavior experience. So somebody could send a tweet in, and then the agent could reply, and then maybe they won't reply for a couple of days. So how do you logically group that together? Well, we've got options for the customer. They can decide how they want that to behave. A few other things we've got to show you in terms of the setup, and then also some reporting and everything else. And then if you have questions, please use the toolbar on the right-hand side, and we'll do our best to pick those up at the end. So with that, let's jump in now and start off just getting a tweet coming in. So here we are. I have Unity Agent open. And what I've got here is I've got Kakapo Systems as one of the queues that I have here. And I've got this queue set up to take BroadSoft ACD calls. It's also taking web chats. It's also taking callbacks, and I've also got it set up for tweets. You can see that I've taken 4 tweets today myself. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to send a tweet in. This is how it works. Okay, so this is the visitor, not so much the visitor, this is the remote party basically, your customer's customer. If they want to send a tweet in, let's just send one in here. So if I go contact Unity, hi there guys. Friendly guy coming in, not complaining. It's what we like. So what's happened here is that this business has just received a tweet from this guy here, Steve Tweets, which is me. Okay. So what's happening now is that the Unity Contact Center is connected to Twitter, is logged into Twitter. So our cloud platform is logged into that Twitter handle. I'll show you how all that works in just a moment. And what's happening now is that there's a 3-minute poll, basically. There's a 3-minute timer where the Unity Contact Center is going to pick up any tweets that have come into the handle, and it's going to distribute them to the available agents, depending on whether it's longest idle or simultaneous or all that kind of stuff. So that's why that tweet's come in, and it's not immediately appeared. It doesn't mean we have to wait 3 minutes. It just means it depends on where it is in the cycle. It seems to me every time I do a demo, it seems to be at the start of a 3-minute cycle, but while that tweet is just waiting to come in and be routed to me as the agent, let me just talk about a couple of other things I've got in this personal wallboard. So as you can see, I've just added in here tweets answered. I can also have tweets in queue. So if I wanted to have calls in queue, of course, web chats in queue, I can also add in tweets in queue. So that's just an option we've got here. And if I just touch on that very quickly, that's an option in the settings. There's a lot of columns we can put in. So I can just put in tweets in queue, tweets received, tweets missed, tweets queued now. So I can just change that to tweets in queue. Tweets in queue, perfect. You can add that in. You see the tweets coming in the background. And for my agent stats here, I'm just going to go tweets answered. I'm going to set up a threshold. So it's going to be green if there's none. And it's going to be yellow if there's 7. Let's just do that. So it's going to make it go green. There we go. Tweets answered as green. Okay. So the tweets come in. So here we go. It's coming in. So it's as the agent, I can easily distinguish the type of media I'm taking. Clearly, it's a tweet. It's come in from the remote party. Steve Tweets. I better pick it up. It's come into this queue here. I'm going to reserve it. This is the common behavior for all of the Unity Contact Center experience. So the concept is reserving it. So whatever type of media I'm taking in, web chat, whatever it is, tweet, callbacks, I reserve it. And so that's effectively answering it. So now I've reserved it. So if it was actually alerting on all of my colleagues, if it was on a simultaneous routing policy, I've now picked it up and it's just with me. It's not ringing effectively on anybody else's Unity. So here we go. So what I can see straight away is I can see the message, and then there's a couple of things I can do. I can clearly reply. How can I help? Send. Okay. So what I can do is I can also send resources. So if I wanted to put links in, these are pre-populated links that you can load up. The same as all of the other contact center media streams. I can have preloaded links to brochures and that kind of stuff that help guides or whatever's appropriate to the type of media stream. If it's a support media stream or a sales media stream, all of that can be preloaded for the agent. What I've done here is I've just replied. Now, what I can do is I can leave this session open, or I can close it. So the relevance of that is that if I leave it open, and then the person replies, it can be part of the same tweet conversation. But what I'm not going to do is I'm just going to actually explicitly close this for the moment, and I'll come on to this just in a second. One thing I will talk about is direct messages while I have this session open. So this is the ability for the agent to send a direct message request to the remote party. So I think the use case there is that if this person, Steve, tweets, if we're having a conversation, he's saying I need some help, and then if I say, listen, I'm going to send a replacement part out to your house, or we're going to be sharing some other personal information that we can't put on this public feed because this is going to be public on both the Contact Unity and Steve Tweets feeds. If we want to take that private, the agent can send a direct message request. Let's do that. Direct message invitation sent. Let's close this down. So the agent has closed down this tweet conversation. What's going to happen to the remote person here is that basically they're seeing the incoming tweets. Okay, so they're seeing the reply. Oops, sorry, if I just go up to here. So what they're seeing is they're sending the reply and also they're sending the direct message request. So if I go into notifications here, just waiting for that direct message request to come in. So what I can also do now, if I just toggle back to show you so that's basically how the experience works. If I just show you some of the setup elements in the Unity portal. So we have, if I just go back to the media streams, so this is we've got a couple of Twitter handles here set up. And of course you can have as many as you like. Each one's a media stream, so if you have a support and a sales handle, then you can create both of those, and they can route to the same agents or different agents or anything else. So if I go into Contact Unity, this is the one that we've been using just now. Basically, the setup couldn't be simpler, to be quite honest with you. All you need is the handle. When you create the new media stream, you've got the ability to have office routing profiles, time of day routing and all that kind of stuff. All you need to set this up is the Twitter handle and the password for Twitter. The Twitter password doesn't actually go into the Unity portal. When you create this, you will actually be taken off to the Twitter platform itself, where you'll put the password in, and then when it's authenticated, the token and everything comes back to the Unity portal. So all you need is the handle and the password to set it up. So one of the things we have got here is the ability, as I mentioned before, to be able to logically join up tweets that are coming into the same sort of conversation thread. And this is where we have reopen conversation on reply. This is how it works. If I do enable this, what it will see is it will say reopen conversation. Let's say I want to have it within 3 days. That sounds reasonable. So in other words, and I'm going to do another tweet conversation now. We're going to look at this reel. So what's going to happen is that if a tweet comes in and then there's a bit of a Twitter exchange and then the agent has closed that conversation, if this is enabled, then it's just going to mean within 3 days, if the person, the remote party, Steve tweets, this person, if they tweet back into the customer, what it's going to do is it's going to repopulate that same thread. So let's just do that now. Let's just update this thread here. Okay. One thing I'll touch on while I am in the portal here as well is the routing phases. Like the other contact center products we have with the Unity Contact Center, we have the concept of phases, which is distribution groups effectively, and you can have these cascading and overflowing and various other things. This one here is just set up to Simultaneous. It's very straightforward. I've got a bunch of agents that I'm going to route the incoming tweets to, and I can choose my routing policy to be Simultaneous or or longest idle with bouncing after 20 seconds. The same you're familiar with for the BroadSoft ACD and the rest of the web chat and callbacks and the other Unity parts we've got that we can overlay on the top. So with that, let's not change that. I have just changed the profile. So if I just go back in here and confirm that, yeah, 3 days. So what we're doing is we're going to reopen. If it comes back in 3 days, we're going to go back now to Unity. Make sure we're still available. We're going to go back into Twitter. And we're going to send a new tweet in. So again, this is going to sort of start off the 3-minute timer. I should say that there is a real-time API with Twitter. It's something that we are sort of looking at. The reason that we've gone with the non-real-time, the 3-minute loop at the moment is just because there is a charge for the real-time API. There's an incremental charge for every tweet that is sent and received, and so it didn't look like it was something that we needed to launch with, and we're just going to see basically what the feedback from users is in that regard. So we're just going to wait for another 3 minutes. See, tweets has gone up to 4. Excellent. So with that, I should also say that, like the other Unity Contact Center components that we have, this doesn't have to be used with a BroadSoft ACD. This can just be used with a BroadSoft hosted PBX. So if the customer has some tweets, maybe web chat's a good example as well. They don't have to have a call center. Okay, so if they're not taking ACD calls, they can still use Twitter as a customer support channel. And we're just going to wait for just a moment, and that tweet hopefully will turn up. I should also say that the agent can multitask different types of incoming media. So in this example, of course, we've got tweets. I've got a call up. So the default behavior is that if you have a call up, you actually won't get tweets and media streams and tweets and web chats and these kind of things. But this is all configurable. There we go, the tweets come in, Steve tweets. So this is all configurable so that it might be that you don't want any tweets or web chats when the agent's speaking on the phone like I am here, but maybe you do want to have multiple web chats and multiple tweets because it's the same sort of conversational type transaction. Maybe you want the agent to be able to multitask those. You can configure all of that in the Unity portal. There we go. So I can reply. Hi there. Let's just send that tweet back quickly. So I'm going to send that tweet back quickly. Now I'm going to close it. So the agent's going to close it. Now what happens when I get the reply back? When I get the reply back, what we're going to do is we're going to reply again. So if I reply again, even though that conversation's been closed, we send this reply back. And what it's going to do is because it's coming back within 3 days, it's going to reopen that previous conversation. Just while we're waiting for that to come in, I'm just going to touch on the reports. So I think the beauty of the Twitter media streams is the simplicity of it. I mean, it's just sending tweets in and out. It's very straightforward. It's very transactional. The reporting we've got dovetails with all of the other conversation types we have. So again, that's the web chat and the callbacks, and there's a few others that are coming. If I just look at the reports, and we'll just show you what we've got here. So I can report. I'm not going to run into all of this, but all of the agent reporting. You know, how many tweets has Steve taken? Has Jen taken? If I just look at the media stream. What I'm going to look at is just looking at this media stream only, the Twitter. If I just roll back a little bit, I just want to have a look at a conversation summary. This is going to show me basically all the tweets that have come in over the reporting period and the handles, but it's also going to let me drill in. So I can drill into this one here, Steve Tart. And there we are. I can pull up the whole history of everything that's ever happened, and I can search by handle and by agent and everything else. If I am running these reports across multiple multiple different media streams. So if I'm running it by media stream and I'm choosing all of them, then over the same period, this is just going to combine basically. So I've got website chat in this example, callbacks, demo accounts. If I run the same conversation over by agent, so if I run the agent stats, then I can see, let's just run it for all these guys that are in this test queue. So again, see, I can break down Benedict. So Benedict's only taking web chat, it looks like. But see, as you can see, for the other agents, I can break down what types of conversations they're taking and how long they're responding to them and all that kind of stuff. So I have actually blending this reporting capability here. There we are, the tweets come in. So there we go. So it's reopened, reserved straight away. We can see, here we go, if I pick it up, and it's going to backfill hello again. So it's going to backfill that conversation history. So I think the importance of that is, again, that's going to depend on each customer's use case. But again, if it's something where customers are taking sort of a few hours or a few days, and there is some logic to actually keeping that whole conversation thread there, so that it doesn't come in as a new conversation and the agent saying, "Hi, how can I help? What's going on?" If you want to backfill the whole story, then we can actually provide that with that capability in the Unity portal. Okay. So I think if there's any questions, please, now would be a good time to open them up in the toolbar on the right-hand side. We're just going to give it a minute to see if there's any questions. I'd encourage anybody that wants to have a look at this to reach out to us. It's literally can be set up in minutes. It's like I say, it's an overlay on BroadSoft's ACD, but also just a hosted PBX solution. And let's just have a look what's going on here, questions-wise. How can I get a free trial? If you contact us offline, if you contact us through the website, and we can set everything up for you, basically. Yeah, we can. There's no problem setting up a trial. But without going into enormous detail, if you reach out to us, and we can get all that set up for you. Let me close this now. You can also add attachments and things as we saw below. So I've got resources, which is preloaded links. I can also add an attachment, or I can transfer it to somebody else if that's been enabled in the Kakapo backend. Okay. Right. Okay. With that, everybody, there's no more questions coming in. If anything occurs to you afterwards, like I say, please reach out to us. And thanks for attending this webinar. Bye bye.